There could be some downed power lines. Don't even touch or go near any of them. You don't know which ones are live or not. We have had reports from Potosi, a few reports, two of roof that was blown off.
The Lion's Den.
And from the Lion's Den, right?
And
Independent Journal. And then also some reports of down power lines and some down trees. So right now we have our crews on the road trying to investigate that. But right now our focus is south of Bonne Terre to Park Hills, where you're under the gun with large hail in Bonne Terre. The rotation has passed you to the south. And the rotation potential tornado right around Park Hills here and north of Farmington. If you're in Farmington, you're probably wondering what's the update on the time here. About 9 minutes.
So it's time to go ahead and take shelter there. We've got storm mode Silverado also showing. This is going to also be a very heavy rainmaker.
Yeah.
Much like what we saw yesterday, flash flooding can occur very quickly. Plus you have trees down and power lines down. Not a situation to be trying to survey damage at all in these areas either. You want to just stay put.
There is the red box, the only storm in our sole focus right now. That is the tornado warning. There are some other thunderstorms north of there. There is storms that are coming through northern Jefferson County. If you're in House Springs, Eureka, Arnold, just rain. Lots of lightning out of that. I'll check the hail tracker for you. Maybe some small hail coming to Cedar Hill and House Springs. But otherwise, you're dealing with rain and probably a lot of lightning. If you're in Kirkwood to Crestwood, you're going to get ordinary thunderstorms. We could get some small hail out of this into Melville, Arnold, and Imperial. That is not a severe thunderstorm. Farther south into Festus, ordinary storms, might get some hail. If you're down in Bonne Terre, that's where you're getting hit hard with that heaviest hail. And as that translates off to the east, that hail core is going to be, well, it's really southeast. About 30 minutes near and south of Bloomsdale, more likely south for the strongest hail as that storm with the potential tornado continues. And meteorologist Megan Danahay and myself have been telling you, this is not it. We're not going to be done with thunderstorm threat after this passes. So the reason why is because while we have this storm right here that we're focused on to the south, we also have storms that are flaring up off to the west. That's going to be the round that you were looking at Super Predictor coming in a little later this evening.
Coming later this evening, and then we could have rounds through the overnight. Now also in those areas in southwestern Missouri, we have a severe thunderstorm watch out of our area and a tornado watch around Tulsa. So these storms that are building back in eastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, and southwestern Missouri are going to be severe.
So these hit and pass. We get a little break, we get a little calm. These come in, and behind those there will be more rounds. It's why
perhaps
we're
the morning rush hour, as well as tomorrow afternoon.
Midnight, 3 a.m., 6 a.m. are all at least chances for storms. And similar to what we're dealing with right now, folks in St. Louis and a large part of the metro are either getting rain or nothing, whereas some folks are under the gun for a tornado. And so we're going to have to be watching this closely because some of these storms overnight may not impact your area, but all of our coverage area we're going to be watching closely, so we'll have the Foreign Storm Center staff. Let's get back to tracking the tornado. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you get a real good view here. It is 4:10 in the afternoon on this Wednesday afternoon, and a tornado warning continues for northern St. Francis County, including central St. Francis County and the Farmington area. That red box represents the warning. It extends into St. Genevieve County. As I look at that box, really the core, it's going to be right here in Park Hills. It is in Park Hills now. It's going to be near and either coming into Farmington or in the north side of town. I'm going to get rid of the boxes. You were talking about how these storms can cycle. I think we've seen that. I mean,
it's got its hook back again.
Yeah. I'm going to show you what we're talking about. Inflow air coming up here. It wraps around. And that is exactly where, if there's a tornado, it's going to be right in that, either that little notch or right in that little ball. And that little ball has my curiosity piqued right here around Park Hills. Similar signature to what we saw in Potosi. And don't forget, in Potosi, we had some damage reported, roofs blown off. We don't know if it's tornadic or not, but we do know that that signature on radar is a strong indication of a potential for a tornado. Also, the backside of those winds right here, as they come around, that can be really rear flank downdraft that produces some really strong straight line winds. But typically when you see that hook like that, those rear flank downdraft winds that are wrapping around, that actually is what helps tighten the rotation and create what otherwise would be a rotating storm above that doesn't do any tornadic damage. This wind flowing around can actually tighten that rotation, and all of a sudden it starts creating a tornado and does tornadic damage. Don't have confirmation of that, but that's how this develops, and that's why we analyze the radar like this to see the rotating signature in the radar and the potential for a real strong signature that would indicate this could develop a tornado at any moment. It actually could still be on the ground. Megan, I see you've got a new tornado watch, too.
I do. In fact,
been issued.
If we could take graphics 2, Steve, if we can pop over to graphics 2, right where you're standing, or that's fine too. Let me get over there. That'd be great. So this is the new tornado watch that has just been issued. This is a tornado watch, and it has come out for everybody south of St. Louis, essentially. You can see these counties in pink. A tornado watch mainly because of this cell, I think, because this cell is so dangerous and translating kind of east and southeast. These areas have now been put under tornado watch. Do you want to switch on the severe thunderstorm watch?
Sure.
We are under a severe thunderstorm watch in the St. Louis metro. You can see the areas in orange, but right now the main show, the game in town, the real dangerous thunderstorm is there in St. Francis and St. Genevieve County. That's where we're seeing the real issue right now. We've got a severe thunderstorm watch until 6 p.m. and that tornado watch goes until 10 p.m. 10 p.m. So Farmington, of course, you're under the gun for a tornado warning now. We probably ought to get a look at that rotation right now, a little closer in on the radar. And Steve's got that a little bit closer in. Golf ball size hail in Park Hills, golf ball size hail in Deloge. What that tells me is that the hail portion of the storm has moved in to those areas that were under the gun for a potential tornado. So that means the tornado threat's translating a little farther, just pushing a little farther to the east and southeast. So as I take a closer look here, if you're in Park Hills, still want you in the basement. Deloge, that entire area around 67, still want you down at the lowest level or in the basement, despite the fact that the tornado threat's just starting to shift off to the east. When I say just, I mean if there's a tornado, you're talking just a couple miles to maybe, just a couple miles east of town. So stay down in the basement. The other thing is, even though the rotation's starting to shift a little bit to the east, you're under that area where the large hail is sweeping in. So around Park Hills to the east, potential for tornado there. If you're in Ogborn in northern, kind of north central St. Francis County, that threat for tornado is working your way as well. New information. A small funnel observed just north of Leadington? Leadington, yeah. Okay, that's this entire area. Right there, So. And when was that? That was 406. So 406. So that perfectly matches exactly what we're saying, how it's shifting just 2 miles to the east. We really do our best to be as specific as possible with pinpointing the rotation. We don't want folks who hear the sirens going off being overly scared unless you're actually in the threat. So this is Leadington. Just about 8-9 minutes ago to the north, they were noticing a funnel cloud. So that rotation then would have shifted off here towards, is that Highway O or Q? Highway O. And that's exactly where we were pinpointing it. There's the inflow into the storm. The winds come up here, they wrap around, and if those backside winds are strong enough, they can create a tornado right in that little notch. This is a hook echo. So if you're in Park Hills, if you're in Leadington, if you're in Deloge, stay in the basement right now. We're just talking about a mile or two to the east of town, the threat for tornado touching down. You still could have some strong winds coming down through this area, and you also could have some of that large hail. By the looks of it, just looking at this particular product, we're probably dealing with maybe up to golf ball size hail out of that storm. We've had some baseball size hail earlier out of some of these storms, and it looks like the largest hail threat's probably just east of Bonne Terre, and they're showing up in purple. That's pretty easy. By the way, on the left-hand side of your screen, we have crews dispatched across the area. That is just north of Bonne Terre. So it looks like they pulled over for the moment, but they're going to come down into the Bonne Terre area and check out some of the damage. If there is any, we haven't heard reports there. And they may, Steve, are they going to head over to Potosi, or are they going to hang out there and see what happens with this tornado threat? Okay, when they get to Bonne Terre, let me know. Right now, I want them to stay put. They're going to miss the heaviest hail here. That's moving off to the east, so that's good news as they come into Bonne Terre. They're going to miss the rotation. I just don't want them driving down 67 and all of a sudden get caught in some of that large hail here. So let's stop them there for a little bit, and let's let this pass, and then let's have them come down 67. I'm talking to my producer, Steve Barron, by the way, because we have crews out there, and it's our responsibility when we can to try and help keep them in a safe spot, and I don't want them driving down into that rotating storm. So they're going down there. They're also going to be probably checking out the Potosi area and see what some of the damage looks like. Right now, it does look like they're pulled over. So threat for tornado right here east of Park Hills. This little
this little V here, that black line, that's actually the St. Genevieve, St. Francis County line.